What's up, you guys? I'm here with the long-awaited 1,000-mile review video on the 2024 S1000RR. And just to show you guys the actual mileage, we are just over 1,000 miles. So 1,474. So, 1,000-mile review. This bike is amazing. This bike looks amazing. This bike with the full aero titanium exhaust sounds amazing. It almost doesn't sound like a V4, or I'm sorry, inline four. It sounds kind of more akin to a V4 or crossplane. There's almost no wrong or no bad I can say about this bike within the first 1,000 miles of ownership that I've had. I've had no technical issues. Actually, I've had one issue, but it went away fairly quickly on its own. So with the 2024 model specifically, you have this SOS button, and apparently it's connected to some type of GPS system. And about, I would say, I was maybe 200 miles into owning the bike. I had about 200 miles on the bike, and the SOS system was triggering, like it had some type of issue, and it was saying, please take your bike to the BMW specialist, blah, 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 blah. If the issue persists, blah, blah, blah. And it happened like 3 or 4 times. I would ride the bike, turn the bike off, let the bike cool down, whatever, started back up, and the issue would still be there. But then it kind of just went away after like probably the 4th or the 5th time I started the bike. The issue went away. But other than that, I've had 0 issues with this bike. This bike is everything everybody says it is. It's, I would say, probably best bike, second best bike on the market, depending on your opinions. Again, it looks amazing. The performance is damn near second to none. There's really no bad I have to say overall on the bike. For me personally, when people ask me how do I feel about the bike, I tell them everything I just told you guys, but for me, it's not the bike for me personally. And I know you guys are probably gonna be like, what? Like, what do you mean? But for me, the bike is too perfect. There's no flaws with the bike. And with that being said, when the bike is too perfect like that, it lacks character. And yes, an exhaust will spice it up a little bit, but the underlying tone of the bike is still the bike. The quick shifter is too perfect. The auto blip is too perfect. Everything is perfect on the bike. And it really does lack character. This bike is well behaved going slow. This bike is well behaved going fast. It's really easy to ride fast. It's really easy to ride slow. You can ride this bike in a parking lot. It's just really easy to ride. BMW did amazing. BMW Motorrad really did amazing on this bike. Now, with that being said, the reason I said it's not the bike for me is because before I purchased this bike, I went to Ray Hall Ducati Cleveland, and they let me test ride a 2024 V4S. And that bike, oh my goodness, that bike, it has so much character, and I wish you guys could experience each one of these bikes in person that you'll see on YouTube and from different content creators, because the V4S and the S1000 are like polar goddamn opposites. Performance wise, they're very similar, but the Ducati hates going slow. Like, on anything under damn near 20 miles per hour in first gear, you have to damn near ride the clutch out because the bike wants to stall. This bike, I can be in second gear going 9 miles per hour and the bike will just, it does it. The Ducati is not like that at all. This bike, I can bump the shifter and it's just going to shift. The Ducati, I false neutral going between 3rd and 4th because I didn't shift hard enough. And the heat on the V4 emits. It's true. Everything you hear about the V4 is true. Everything you hear about the S1000 is true. So for me, for the price point of this bike, the performance is there. The performance with all the bikes are there. The R1, the Gixxer, the ZX10, the V4, they all are very similar in performance, especially once you put an exhaust and flash and do this and do this and do. They're all very similar. So one bike isn't just leagues above the rest. They're all very similar. It all comes down to personal preference, if I'm being honest. You have like these kind of cults and kind of fanboys of certain bikes, and they downplay other bikes. This bike is just as good as a 2024 Gixxer 1000, which is just as good as a goddamn R1, which is just as good as the CBR. They're all really good bikes. But it just comes down to the character and what do you prefer, I would say. So for me, for how I ride, I don't really ride a lot. This is the most I've ridden just because I had to do the break-in miles, which is 600 miles. And then once I got the bike unlocked, I rode it a little bit. Then I put the exhaust on, I rode it a little bit more. Now I just got the bike flash, so I rode a little bit more. But other than that, I probably would average less than 1,000 miles a year, being honest. And with me riding so little, I personally would just rather have a V4. Every time I ride, I kind of want it to be an experience, not just like lollygagging. This bike, when you get off of it, you're kind of numb. You don't really feel anything. You're not too high, too low. Even when you ride this bike fast, it's still kind of just like, meh. Instead of it being like, oh my God, that was a moment. That was so exciting for me personally, at least. But I would say for 80, I would say probably 95% of people, this is the bike for them. This is the bike they should get, especially for the price point. This is the M package. So this bike's like right around 25,000, depending on where you are and what options, whatever. You could get like a base S1000 with the electronic suspension and the forged wheels for probably right around 22,000, depending on your dealer. For that price, man, you can't beat that. I would say the S1000 is the better bike to have over the Gixxer, over the R1, over pretty much all the other bikes, just for reliability. And the R1s are really bad with their motors. The ZX10s have issues as well. The Gixxers are probably the only bulletproof bikes. The Gixxers and the CBRs are probably the two only bulletproof bikes. This bike statistically has had a lot of issues. I haven't had any issues, knock on wood, whatever. The V4 statistically has some issues. But I would say this is the bike most people should get. Everything you've heard about the bike is true. It's the best bike ever, really. It has cruise control, heated grips, all that other stuff. The V4, the 2024 V4 doesn't have that. The 2025 V4 does have cruise control. It's kind of become a standard. I know the ZX10 has it. All the other bikes are adopting that. But also, I know the 2025 R1 is also probably a strong contender with the upgraded brakes, upgraded forks, and the wings, and all that kind of stuff. That's a pretty strong bike, I would say, too. Still would have to see what price point they launch it at. But that's a pretty strong bike for this price category as well. So that's pretty much the 1,000-mile review. I'll probably have a couple more videos coming down the pipeline. Probably not too much more. Definitely over this winter break, I'm gonna do a lot more gun stuff. I'm kind of versatile on my channel. I don't just do bike stuff or just car stuff or just video games or just gun stuff. So I'm just a normal dude. I go to work, I come home, I go to the gym. I probably won't post any gym stuff. But from this point on, pretty much, there might be one or two more bike videos, but pretty much everything's gonna be range videos or more video game videos, like Apex, Call of Duty's coming out, maybe a little bit of 2K, and stuff like that. So yeah, follow me on social. I don't use Instagram anymore, but you can still follow me on Instagram. I'll probably get back on there at some point in the future. And next year, about within the next 18 months, I will be picking up another car. I sold the Supra last September. Yeah, I'm looking at something a little bit better coming up. So stay tuned, you guys. Be safe, stay dangerous, and yeah, just stay prayerful.